Bet online is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports contests and events with first to market odds and lines. Now, find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. Bet Online continues to be the top online resource for all sports information from live in game betting props and futures. Head to Bet Online today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Now, use our promo code BLEAV50 to receive your 50%. Welcome your bonus on your first deposit. Now, Bet Online is where the game starts.
What's going on, Bills Mafia? Welcome to another edition of Believe in Bills podcast. Of course, with Justus General Radford, yours truly, and the legend himself, Mr. Coach Muki Hawkins. What's going on, Mook? How you feeling today, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm up here in Detroit right now. No snow, 50 plus right now. So, so far so good, even though the Bills are playing indoors. So, I guess I got out of the snow a little bit. So I'm
Yeah,
cool.
got a little lucky. Yeah, absolutely here. But we got a couple things to talk about today. We got obviously the win over the Cleveland Browns last weekend. We also gonna get into a little bit about the bout, tomorrow with the Detroit Lions. So see, what I'm saying, we'll talk about that a little bit. Of course, we want to give a shout out to those guys over at Bet Online, as well as the guys over there, Believe. And then we'll throw Ruben's brothers a little bit of a shout out later. But we're gonna start off with the kickoff, right, Luke? They won the game. They led off to garbage time touchdowns. I mean, you never want to let off a garbage time touchdown, maybe a field goal here or whatever. But they led up 2 garbage time touchdowns. But in the grand scheme of things, it didn't really matter. But my question for you is, first half was a little shaky. After the second half, were you satisfied with the way the Buffalo Bills played in Sunday win over Cleveland Browns?
Yes, I'm satisfied with the win. The Bills need those gritty wins. I mean, we need a gritty win. Now, don't get me wrong. The Baltimore game was definitely a gritty win, but it was just different. This game was a gritty win to the point where they really had to tough this one out because that first quarter, I don't know what I was watching. That first quarter. I mean, Josh Allen seemed very unsure of himself. The play calls were dismal at best. Stephon Diggs didn't even have a target. So I'm like, well, what the hell is going on with this picture? Like, you can't win in the passing game if Stephon Diggs ain't touching the damn ball. All right. So, that would led to, Steph going to the coach, expressing whatever he needed to express at that point. But, I don't want to say I'm glad it happened this way, but I'm kind of glad it happened this way because, it seemed like the passing game obviously was not working at all. So they had no choice but to resort to the run game, and the run game bailed their asses out. And with that being said, it's quite inevitable that this team needs to have that balance. This team needs to have that run game to go forward because teams, if you're going to play that way, then you're just damn predictable. And I don't care if you're a Super Bowl contender or you're the last in the league. If you're predictable, you're predictable. And in that first quarter, they looked awfully damn predictable to the Cleveland Browns out of all teams. They looked very predictable. And, again, that first quarter was horrendous. But thank God they got the run game going and they stuck with the run. But in some phases, Coach Dorsey still just can't help himself. He has to get in that gun. But I think it was a good, tough, gritty win. It was the same performance that the Bills should have did last week versus the Vikings in that second half, So that's just reiterate the point on how bad the Bills need to have a run game.
When you look at the run game from this game, it's almost like a tale of two teams because the Cleveland Browns are known for their run game. They have 2 of the best running backs in the league, in Nick Chubb as well as Kareem Hunt. They have a really good offensive line as far as run blocking goes. And our offensive line isn't exactly known for being the best at run blocking. They had to deal with Myles Garrett all day long, and he was clearly giving that offensive line fits. You could tell in the first half, Josh was really, like you said, he was unsure of himself. It was a couple of missed opportunities and it was like screenplays that just didn't come to fruition. However, overall in the game, they got the run game going. And when you look at the discrepancy between the Browns and the Bills, Kareem Hunt has 32 yards. Yes, he averaged 6.4 yards a carry, but only 32 yards. Nick Chubb had 19 yards on 14 carries. And then, you move over to the Bills, and they had themselves a hell of a day. Josh Allen only ran the ball 3 times, which you like to see if you're a Bills fan. You want to see him running a little bit less, using that arm, using his mind a little bit more. You see Devin Singletary having 18 carries for 86 yards, 4.8 a pop. And then James Cook had his breakout game, 11 carries for 86 yards a pop. So I want to ask you, we'll get into the Browns run game or lack thereof, the Bills defensive run stop. But first I want to talk to you because when we had our episode last week, this was your whole thing. It was run the damn ball, right? And they followed your advice. They did exactly that. They had 170 plus yards of running between the two backs. How did you feel about the two-headed monster in Singletary and Cook?
Let's throw a third one in there now. Let's get Nyheim Hines going, can we? You clearly have all these weapons. It's just not you don't have. Let me put it to you like this: right now, the Bills don't have enough weapons in their pass game, so they better hope that OBJ is really feeling the Bills more he's feeling the Dallas Cowboys. Because if you're not using Isaiah McKenzie as such, if you're not using Khalil Shakur, you only have Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs. So you don't have that much weaponry in your passing game if you're not using all your weapons. And again, the inconsistency other than Stephon Diggs. And if me and you is sitting at the couch looking at that and recognizing that, what do you think the other teams are going to do? Only thing that's consistent with the Bills on offense is Stephon Diggs. So guess what? We're not going to let Stephon Diggs get his numbers. We're going to force Josh Allen to go somewhere else, what normal teams would do. The Bills are the only team that don't do things like that. They believe in their scheme. They trust their scheme. They scheme and they scheme. They live and die by their scheme. They died 3 times already with that same damn scheme. Cleveland clearly took Stephon Diggs away from the equation, and Josh Allen looking like a deer with headlights going on, scared to death of Myles Garrett, hovering around. So you got to run the football to back teams up. If you're not doing that or bring those guys down, the teams are going to continue to double step Diggs, take him away from you, and force Josh Allen to go other places with the football and where he's not comfortable. So thank God for the running game. So now let's mix and match it now. Let's create that balance. Let's get some more play action plays that set up off the run, because we still didn't do any type of play action pass off these run plays Sunday. And, again, the Bills are still in their own way. It was another 3rd and 1 situation, 3rd and 2 situation again. I don't know if Josh is audible into this inside zone run up the middle, but it's not working. All right, it's not working. What you saw was Devin Singletary. You saw James Cook hit the edges. Let these guys run downhill. Let them hit the edges. Let them get outside. Let those big fat D tackles chase them and tire those guys out trying to taste the fast slippery guys. So incorporate some play action with that. The screens are not working because they don't rep it out enough. How many times they do it in practice in a real game speed type setting? That's why it looks so bad out there when they do go to it. That's why it looks damn near obvious when they do go, because it's not repped out enough. So they got to figure that one out. But this is clearly known that the Bills need to run the football. They need to run the football. They need to be more creative in the run game. And Detroit is either dead last or second to last when stopping the run. So, again, are the Bills are going to stick with the run this week? We'll see tomorrow.
You mentioned how the Bills don't have enough weapons in the pass game, which kind of the contrarian belief toward the beginning of the season as far as the Bills community goes. It was we have all the weapons in the world, Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis and Khalil Shakir and James Cook coming out the backfield, right? You look at how Gabe Davis has performed these last couple weeks. He's had a little bit of that drop issue that he had his rookie year starting to come back a little bit. Does that concern you at all?
No, that don't concern me. I mean, in the games, you're going to have some, you're going to have some drops. You would like for those guys to catch them all, but, he's going to have some drops. But, when it's time to convert, damn it, it's time to convert. And we need those catches. So I think that just come with repetition, too. Keep in mind that Gabe was dealing with an injury at first, and that kind of put things on the back burner a little bit. So, getting back out into the swing of things and stuff like that do play a part, when, you're back out there and getting those type of targets. It is certain situations, that shit is like a scramble drill. You know what I mean? It's not a well-executed pass play. When you look in that first quarter, everybody was covered. I don't know why the Bills just like to send everybody deep all the damn time. They don't send nobody short. It's just a check down. And Josh is looking clearly up the field. Sunday, you clearly saw him, he's checking it down to Dawson, which he should. But you can tell that he really didn't want to check it down. You really clearly see that. And that's where the frustration lies. So when your quarterback is frustrated like that, as an offensive coordinator, you have to adjust and do something different in your pass game to get your quarterback going so he can establish a rhythm. How come you can't take a shot down the field? Why is that? You don't have enough creativity to, create a one-on-one situation to where you can take a shot downfield? Teams are lacking off of you. If that's the case, then you got to run the ball, delay draws with the running back, even do a delay draw with the quarterback. That screen stuff, you still have to, you got to rep that out. You got to rep that out, and you got to find what screen works.
Yeah.
Because right now he's just
none of them are
he be doing plays in the middle of a football game. You're like, why in the hell is he doing that? Like, for instance, when the Bills scored, the run game got you all the way down there. The Bills go for 2. You give Isaiah McKenzie a jet sweep. Why? Why give a receiver a jet sweep when you can put Nyheim Hines there and let him do that? Or you could just run the damn ball with your running back. Do it with James Cook. Do it with. Why are you doing it with a receiver? Because clearly he didn't stick his foot in the ground and get up the field. Now, running back, naturally, that's what he's going to do. We didn't convert that because why? You giving plays to people who's not in the rhythm of the game. That's like putting a guy out there bone dry and just think that he's going to perform at a high level and outshine everybody. That's not going to happen. So Dorsey got to sometimes get out of his own way too. Because it's costing the team.
Yeah. He's a rookie as far as play calling goes. So, probably a couple growing pains that have to go on there. But before we get into Detroit, I got a couple more questions I want to ask you about the current iteration of the Buffalo Bills, right? Nyheim Hines has came through and really made a statement, especially on special teams, looking really, really good at that return role. You just spoke about how you like to see him more in the offense, but how dangerous can Nyheim Hines be for this Bills team going forward and into the playoffs?
Well, I mean, the speed is quite evident. You see the speed out there. You see the explosiveness, and it's like, well, damn, how come we can't get the ball in this guy's hands in this offense? I mean, what is there so much to learn in 2-3 weeks that he's not out there on the field? As an offensive coordinator, all right, I'm not going to throw so much stuff at you, but I do have these 5 to 10 plays that you're going to be involved in. Either you're going to be a decoy in it or you're going to receive the ball, whether it's a run play or it's a pass play. I have these specific 10 plays designed for you. I don't know what he has designed, for him not to be getting the ball. Like, give him a damn sweep. Why are we giving Isaiah McKenzie a jet sweep? Give it to a running back. Give it to Nyheim Hines. He's clearly showing you he has to make the most of what he gets on special teams because even only touches he's getting. And hey, you saw that Sunday, how he was running. Like, man, I got to make the most of this because I'm not in the offense. So I got to make the most of these returns, and he's definitely doing that. So hopefully this week, coach get him going. I mean, there's no reason for him not to be at the slot, and you're running him in motion on a jet sweep, faking the jet sweep to him, giving it to Singletary, or faking the jet sweep to him, or giving it to James Cook. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand why they're not being used that way. They are not being used right. And hey, if I was coaching the Bills right now, we'd be putting up 50 points a game. I don't even care about the defense. The defense, it won't be a defense enough to catch up because they do have weapons. They just not being used right.
No, you're absolutely right. They got the most dynamic quarterback in the NFL, maybe NFL history. You have one of the most dynamic wide receivers at the in the world. Gabe Davis has shown the propensity to be a great talent. Naeem Hines just looks like an absolute beast anytime he's in the open field, and we know Devin Singletary is RB1 for a reason. He goes out there and he proves it week after week, despite not getting the necessary touches he probably should get. I like what James Cook did, but I do feel like Devin Singletary should be getting the brunt of the load. I kind of like what Cleveland does. They give Nick Chubb 2 series, and then they'll give Kareem Hunt a series. It kind of seems like the Bills are just like, well, whatever running back we feel like going with on this series is who we're going to go with. You know what I mean? So I would like to see a little more consistency there out the backfield. But before we move into Detroit, I want to talk about the Bills' run defense, right? We talked about how Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, he had a pretty decent game, averaging about 5-6 yards a pop, but he only had 32 yards, so it wasn't like he went off, right? Nick Chubb didn't do anything at 1.4 yards a pop. And as far as the secondary, they got torched a little bit, but I'm not mad because they were there on every play. If our corners could get their heads around, they'd have so many interceptions this season. Like, they are right there on everybody. So I'm not super mad at that, especially with them being young guys. But I want to talk more about the run defense and how well they were able to answer after, it looked like the recipe to beat the Bills was run through them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was because the Bills are playing so honest on defense. It's like, damn, like really? Like we can do anything we want from a run standpoint, because Leslie Frazier does not blitz. He doesn't run blitz. He doesn't pass blitz enough. What you saw Sunday, you saw Leslie Frazier do something that normally he doesn't do. And that's why you saw the Bills get the success that they were able to have against a Nick Chubb because he was sending Matt Milano on rundowns. He was sending, linebackers on passing down. He was blitzing. He was mixing it up out there. And that's what you got to do. This shit is chess. It ain't checkers. You have to mix it up because teams got book on you. Teams that studied you all week long. And if it's just like practice, it's just like practice, then you're going to have some success out there against a team that you shouldn't be having success on, because they play so damn honest. I hope that Coach Frazier sticks with mixing it up this week because you're going to have to do that against a Detroit team who's, is on a winning streak right now. So you have to be able to mix it up. And then on top of that, why are you not blitzing when you have all these types of injuries that's happening on your back end at the linebacker position? You're nicked up front right now too. So you have to blitz to compensate for those starters not being available.
Yeah. And on that note, I want to say these are my opinions, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably agree with me. Jordan Poyer needs to be paid. And all you Tremaine Edmonds haters, y'all are like out of here, okay? Like Tremaine Edmonds his value has never been higher. I mean, the way our defense looks with and without him is day and night, or the linebacker position at least. And when he's out there on the field, he's out there making plays. So this is a very big year for the Tremaine Edmonds support group, and I'm glad to be part of it. But we got a very special game tomorrow while you're sitting there eating your turkey and your mac and cheese and your greens and your yams. You can see the Buffalo Bills take on the Detroit Lions. Bills kind of making it maybe a little bit of a thing where they play on Thanksgivings. So It could be a thing, like you always see the Lions and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Maybe you might see the Bills now. But they take on the Detroit Lions tomorrow. You talked about they're on a little bit of a win streak. They aren't the worst looking team in the world, despite being projected to have the number 1 overall pick and everything else. They've been playing pretty well. They've been playing above their station. I think their coach, is somebody that those guys want to play for, a lot like a Sean McDermott. They get the most out of the talent that they have. Mm-hmm. What do the Bills need to worry about the Detroit Lions doing to try to sneak out a win here?
But they got to worry about play action. Again, they run the ball. They got Jamal Williams. They got DeAndre Swift. He's a guy that can catch out of the backfield. Jamal Williams is more of the pound and ground type of guy, which set up play action pass for, Amon St. Brown and, other guys. Good thing about that is, they traded away T.J. Hockenson, so you don't have to worry about that issue. You don't, but you still have to be on point to whoever that tight end is. But you just got to worry about run action with them. We know Jared Goff doesn't have the biggest of arms, but he still can, savvy enough that can make you pay if he catch a defense slipping. So you definitely want to shut down a run. If I'm the Bills, you want to shut down a run. You want to force Jared Goff to be in 3rd and long situations, so guys like Von Miller and company could pin their ears back and go and make plays.
Absolutely. You look at the Detroit Lions, and you talked a little bit about it. DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jared Goff hasn't been awful. He's looked pretty good, given for what he has. What do the Bills need to do in order to ensure this win? We know they play well on prime time. They played extremely well on Thanksgiving up to this point. But you can't just take teams for granted, as we've seen when they played the Vikings or, with the other loss that they had to the Jets, right? What do the Bills need to do to ensure a W here? And you know what, Muki? I'm going to get to you in a second, but first I want to hear from my man, the myth, the legend himself, Hall of Famer, Ruben Brown in the building. What's going on, Ruben? How you feeling, man? Happy holidays, brother.
Happy holidays to y'all, man. My favorite holiday. I really enjoy Thanksgiving, and my reason for loving Thanksgiving so much is that's that football day, man. You get to wake up, watch football all day long, grab a few basketball games here and there, but really it's all about that football day. What y'all got planned for Thanksgiving, man? What's going on?
Football and food.
There you go. Nothing better, man. Nothing better.
Absolutely. But Ru, we was talking about, the Bills versus the Lions and kind of what they need to do in order to ensure a win. We've seen them give up a couple easy ones that they shouldn't have given up to the Jets. They had the Vikings beat for 3.5 quarters, and then they let it happen, right? What do the Bills need to do to ensure that they get the W tomorrow at 12:30 p.m.?
Don't turn the football over, number one. And find a way to be aggressive with Detroit. That's huge because we know what Detroit is trying to portray themselves as, and their coach tries to portray Detroit as. So the only way to combat that is to go and really, as they say, punch them in the mouth. Give them a dose of what they think they can do, but actually give it to them in a way like, no, this is how the pros do it. We're gonna run on you. We're gonna rough you up because the Bills got the athletes to go out there and be physical and tough with Detroit. I think people think the Bills are finesse, but it's football. Bills can go out there and beat you up. So I think that's really those two keys right there.
Real quick, Muki, before I'm going to get to you, Muki, but I want to ask Ruben about, because last week Ruben kind of conceded to the thought that this team just runs through Josh Allen, which, it looks like it, you know what I mean? Yeah. But last week they were able to get a lot out of the run game. What were your thoughts on that?
Man, you don't know how bad I was yelling and screaming, like, do it more. Where y'all been hiding at? Every time a running back did something good, I'm saying, see, he can play too. That was my sentiment. Like, where y'all been hiding this? This, it's needed. And the good thing is, now is the time to be dusting that off and pulling it out and using it, because it's going to be a key part of winning and success down the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Muki, let me ask you this. You look at this game, and Stephon Diggs has people have been trying to take him away, right? Gabriel Davis has had his little rough spot with drops. Dawson Knox is he either has a good game or he doesn't. It's kind of like no in between, and the run game is now on point. What's the X factor from the Bills' offensive perspective going into tomorrow?
Play action. Learn how to set your run up now. Now, you say that Dawson Knox is dismal because it's just been Diggs and Davis show. Knox has been extinct. The run game has been extinct. But what happened last week? Knox had, a breakout game, 7 catches, 70 yards. Oh, Devin Singletary, 18 carries, 86 yards for his usual 5 yards a crack. Oh, James Cook, 11 carries, 86 yards for 8 yards a crack. So what is that telling me? All right, you got everybody involved, and your team is scoring points. They scored 31 points, and to me, didn't play their best game at all. Still couldn't put it together for a complete 4 quarters. This team has yet to put a game together for a complete 4 quarters. And they still scored 31 damn points last week. So just imagine if they came out with that same game plan in the second half versus the Minnesota Vikings, when they were already up 14. Right. All right. You get everybody involved. Your passes game gets involved. Your tight end gets involved because the run game solves all problems.
All right, Muki. When we was talking about this team in training camp, I remember how hype he was. He was talking about, listen, there's going to be a lot of this, a lot of that, Gabe Davis and stuff on it. So what has changed for this team, 11 weeks in? What does the demeanor of the team look like? And how different is it from what it looked like in training camp? And do you think you can get back to the hype and pomp and circumstance that it was originally that led us to believe that this was a Super Bowl team?
It definitely will. The team is, they're not healthy. As much as we want to say it, they're just not healthy. They're just not healthy. So, hopefully, they're getting there, and, they're going to get healthy at the right time to make the run. And, then we can fairly say that this is the Super Bowl team that everybody's been talking about since training camp. When you get Tre'Davious back out there, and hey, Xavier Rhodes looked pretty damn good out there versus Amari Cooper. So you got that. You got Kyer Elam coming back. You got Christian Benford being back. So these guys are definitely going to be loaded on that back end. Tremaine Edmonds, if he could, come back healthy, the way Matt Milano's playing over there, get Greg Rousseau back on the other side opposite of Von Miller. All that stuff is key into the Bills, running the table here. So that defense definitely got to, get healthy. And you said it, it's always good having Jordan Poyer back. I had to ask Coach Frazier that on Monday, like, how much at ease does it make you to know that Jordan Poyer is out there? And he said, oh, man, he had a big smile on his face just explaining it. So, it's just that those guys are extra coaches out there. They've been in Coach Frazier's system for 6-7 years. They can do it blindfolded. So, and it shows. It definitely shows. You look at those plays that Poyer made that he had to be there to make, or Njoku was gone on those plays. So it was key that Poyer was available to, make those plays early on in that football game, because it could have got out of hand pretty early if Jordan Poyer don't make those plays, so it's key to have those guys completely healthy and tip-top shape. And, this offense just need to be clicking. The offense just needs to be clicking. And this here, again, is that balance. And if they're not seeing that balance is what's going to help this team going forward, I don't know what to say, because it's all on how Coach Dorsey is calling these plays. And it's all on how Coach Frazier is going to mix it up now. You got to be able to blitz. You got to play your guys aggressive. Like Ruben said, football, you got to be aggressive with Detroit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Football is an aggressive damn sport. And I'm playing defense. I got 11 guys out there on defense, and I'm only sending 4. That's not aggressive football for me. You know what I mean? So you mean to tell me that I got 4 guys playing aggressive and 7 playing passive? That's not aggressive football to me. I mean, the other teams see that too. If they're going to lag back, we just going to run the ball all over them just like everybody else. So Frazier has to blitz. He has to be aggressive on second down, you know, it's just as well as third down. You know what I mean? He has to be aggressive. Ruben couldn't even say it more better.
Yeah. You talked about Sean McDermott and how he felt, you know, having Jordan Poyer on the field. As a fan, I can tell you I feel a lot better when I see 21 on that football field. I just got to say. But, Rube, you know, coming from a player's perspective, how important – because I look at the Lions and I see a scrappy team, right? I see a team, you know, the team always takes the personality of their head coach. And I feel like that is actually like a real life truth when it comes to the Detroit Lions. They are super scrappy. They're relatively young and inexperienced, but they are out trying to do what they got to do to win football games. How scary or how much should a Buffalo Bills team should be worried when you know, hey, we're a lot better than this team, but this is a team that really has nothing to lose. How scary is a team like that?
It's very scary for the simple fact they have nothing to lose, but the coaching staff should present this to the players and the Bills as, look, we going for the championship, and we're going to have to do some tune-up fights. And in them tune-up fights, we're going to have to fight somebody that could possibly hurt us, knock us out. But we have to beat these people to tune ourselves up for the championship fight. And, you know, in this week's opponent, we have, you know, maybe a body punching, heavy hitting, you know, guy that maybe ground and pound is technique. So, you know, we're going to have to figure out a way to break him down, break the Detroit Lions down. I'm using boxing analogies because that's what it's like. You know, we are skilled and everything's in our favor as far as winning. We have the winning philosophy, momentum in our corner. They don't have a winning culture. You know, they're used to being beat. But also when a team is used to being beat, they swing really hard. You know what I mean? Because they've been beat and they going for all out to knock you out. So you more afraid of losing than they are. All right?
Right.
So these are the perfect people to cut your teeth on being a champion. Let's go in and beat some people. Ain't got nothing to lose. They'd be happy to see you out on your butt. So these are great learning opportunities for a championship team. And if they can't meet that challenge, then it's back to the drawing board. And then they got to come back and be able to beat that type of team again. You don't move to the next level until you beat the toughest. I mean, we are video game kids, all right? Every one of us are. And we all know about leveling up. You don't get to the next level of Mario and everything. So you hit the sequence and jump the certain way and do all of that. Then you unlock next level. You know, and until you do that, you're may have to keep repeating, going back, you know, until you jump. And not unless you get the cheat code, you know, then you got infinite men. But we don't have cheat code.
Yeah.
This is a physical game. You know, that's the difference. So I'm excited for the Bills to play the Lions because the Bills need the Lions so they can grow and be a championship team. That's number one.
Sure. All right, guys. Before we get into some predictions for the game tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and get into Ruben's rugs. We gave a shout out to those guys over at Bet Online. Shout out to BLEAV, Buffalo fan base, WUFO 96.5. But also Ruben has some rugs he would like to tell you guys about.
Yeah, so I have two Bills Mafia rugs that we custom designed. These are one-offs. The gentleman that agreed to do this, he's in Brooklyn, New York. He's from the famed rap group Lords of Brooklyn, but now this is one of his side gigs, and he decided to do this for the Bills Mafia fans. They're the only two that are out in the market. Now, here's the thing, people. If you want one of those, you can go and purchase one yourself online at rugburners.com. All right. Or you could wait to enter our raffle for the two that will be given away before Christmas. And these two right here will be either one person wins two of them or two people win one. So that's how it's going to end up. But we'll be raffling off a way for you guys to get in and enter for that. And I haven't decided what charity or anything we'll be giving the money to, but y'all know Ruben Brown Foundation helps all of the youth and development programs throughout the Buffalo area. We don't do it in Chicago, Virginia, you name it. We do it, and we're going to do it again. So go on, support rugburners.com and us, and wait for our raffle to come out, which we'll talk about later, but you know. Takes time to organize these things, coordinate.
Very high quality rugs, and we definitely
get you one of them rugs, baby.
Let you know, the guys know how to enter that raffle.
They type.
And go ahead and buy yourself one, just in case you don't win the raffle. But now I gotta buy and sell for you guys before we get to predictions, right? You look at the first half. It kind of looked like the same Bills team we have been seeing for the previous 2.5 games coming out of halftime versus the Packers, right? But then in the second half, Josh found his rhythm. The run game found his rhythm. The defense was able to make more stops up until like the last 6-7 minutes of the game, right? So buy or sell, Muki, Hawkins, the Buffalo Bills are back.
I'm fine. I mean, they never really left. It was just that they had to get out of their own way. You know what I mean? And, that Cleveland Browns showed that, man, we should have been running the football. So they can't go back to not running the football after clearly the run game won you a football game. All right? It wasn't Josh Allen this week. It was the run game. So now how do you mix in the two? How do you create that balance to help your struggling quarterback? Like, can we start off running the ball? You know what I mean? Can we be aggressive running the ball to set up our pass with our good quarterback? So I mean, I'm definitely buying because this was muchly needed, and it's December time where the Bills have to run the ball, and again, it's quite evident that if you're going to be one-dimensional, teams are not going to let you beat them that way. I don't care who you are. You could be a Super Bowl contender team. Again, you could be the last team. You just think that you're going to sit back and just throw the ball to Stephon Diggs all day? It's not going to happen. Cleveland clearly exposed that bright and early. Said, look, we are not letting Stephon Diggs get 10 catches and 100 yards and then score. Not today, Josh Allen. And, that forced the Bills to run the football. So now how do you create that balance where you got a mixture of run and pass, and your run is setting up your pass? So that's what I want to see this week out of the Bills.
Yeah, it's easy to be one-dimensional when you don't have Myles Garrett across, from you rushing your quarterback. And I mean, it seems to be what the Bills are trying to do, be one-dimensional through Josh's arm. But when you got that boy on the other side, of the ball coming at your quarterback, you $400-500 million quarterback, you need to neutralize that in some way, shape, or form. Ruben, buy or sell, Buffalo Bills are back.
I never thought the Bills went anywhere. I think they definitely are who they are. They're a contending team. But I am going to sell. And even though I like to play, devil's advocate a lot. I think that's why my teammates were a little annoyed with me. I like to say, what if we look at it this way? And the reason why I'm selling is offensive coordinator. Muki, you're right. Why don't we start off the game running? Knowing, that we got the arm power, we got the receivers and stuff. Why don't we start up? Is it going to hurt us? No. Our offensive coordinator has no confidence in the running ability of any of our running backs, which they actually are fucking good. These guys are good. I'm telling you, put them somewhere else or another system, they'd be running all over the place. We are stifling them. We ain't giving them no run. We ain't giving them no rhythm. And the little rhythm that we gave, do you know we could have ended up in that game with 200-yard backs? Give them, each one of them, the ball one more time. Each one break for 20. What do they both have?
A ball.
100. See what I'm saying? And we've been begging, but come on, let's get this run. It's week 9, and we see a glimpse of the run, and we going right. Soon as they feel like Josh is over his, little down spurt or down tick or hiccup, they're going right back to what they were doing before. You trust, believe it. That's why I'm selling, because I don't think the offensive coordinator has learned his lesson. Not that the team had. Talent is there. Talent ready to go. You got to hand that ball off, and they're not doing it.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Coach was talking about if he was the offensive coordinator, he'd be dropping 50 points a game just because you got the requisite talent to do so. It's really all about efficiency at the end of the day. Like, the Bills have all the talent in the world. They can make all the big plays. They can make all the little plays. They can control the clock. They can do this. They can do that. But they got to be consistent. They got to be efficient. You got to hold the ball. It seems like every time we get the ball, if we're not scoring, if we're not getting a field goal, it's a turnover. Like, the Buffalo Bills average, or no, they have the highest percent of turnovers per drive.
Per drive. Yeah.
Anytime they get the ball, they either scoring or turning it over. It's rarely a punt.
Basically letting the defense off the hook and giving the opposing offense a head start.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I sold. And Muki, you're right. Why don't we start running the ball? I think the Bills they've been contenders since they stepped on the field. They've been contenders in their loss.
Right.
You know what I mean? They are number 1 contenders. The man calling the plays better wake up.
Right. And it goes to show, like, when teams get book on you, how do you adjust to be consistent at what you do best? And, I had to ask Dable that when he was the OC, and I asked Dorsey that on Monday. Like, teams got book on you, coach. So what is you doing to adjust to be consistent? How do you adjust to make sure Stephon Diggs is being consistent? Because he wasn't consistent last week. And that clearly showed you teams got book on you. How do you adjust to that? And again, if I'm reading analytics, since we're in an analytical world, and I see that the damn Detroit Lions is dead last in run defense, I'm running the fucking football.
Listen, I may even say, hey, Josh, you playing the first quarter. That's what I would say. I'd literally say, Buffalo Bills team gonna have to dig. Sorry, not today. They ain't gonna be 20 catches. Today, we going out here and beat the fuck out this team. Josh should be eating hot dogs on the sideline at halftime. Running backs, your stomach gonna get sore because I'm gonna give you that ball in your gut about 30 times. And we got the talent to actually carry that out. Why we won't do it?
I would love to see what a Devin Singletary game looks like with 20.
That'd be a banger.
I would love to see what that game looks like, because I really genuinely
Especially
do think he could go off like 150.
And defense we got, the defense we have, if they came out and let Singletary them rip it, then Muki, Frazier's job is easier, and he can just rush 4.
No, he can't.
If that is the case, if we get the running game going, there's no need to blitz.
You see what they was able to do this week? Why they
Yeah.
hold Nick Chubb to 14 carries and 19 yards?
Yeah.
Because they was blitzing. They were run blitzing.
Well,
You gotta mix
yeah,
it
that's
up.
different. Yeah, the run dogs, the run.
Right.
Yeah,
Matt Milano was
that's the
defensive player.
nuances of it. That's the science.
Yeah, Matt Milano was defensive player of the week.
Yeah, run
because
dog.
of him run blitzing and having 3 tackles for a loss and 12 solo tackles and making plays. When you're blitzing, you're playing aggressive and your guys are making plays. You know what I mean? Like on the flip
side, somebody's this is the game plan, and we all here. We're here because we fucking know football, and this is how the game works. They always send one more than you have to block. If you got 5 guys to block, they send in 6. If you keep 6 guys in as blockers, they send in 7. It's just the math. You could do it however you want. That's all it is. Offense and defense know that in and out, and it's up to the quarterback to know where that extra guy is, so they can direct it, so we can get out of it and away. But if they don't know where the damn extra guy is coming from, then they fuck.
Now let me ask you this, Rube. Since we're talking about how you do that line play stuff, the Dub Club, Roger Saffold and Deion Dawkins. That's what they call themselves on that left side. The Dub Club.
Straight up. That's what's up.
What are your thoughts? What was your impressions on the way that old line was playing out there this week?
Listen, I really think these guys, Saffold and Dawkins, should be mentioned for Pro Bowl. I think so. They deserve mention, whether they get it or not. Who knows whether haters are out there? And
they both was Pro Bowlers last year.
Exactly. So they got my vote. I think they've been doing the job, and honestly, they don't give them enough opportunity to be the dogs that they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a testament to them because they are using their veteran ability to be aggressive in a pretty passive, pass-happy offense that doesn't really give them a lot of chance to go get somebody, or dig into these linemen and different people that's blitz, give them a chance to double up on somebody's and take them for a ride. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're doing it without those opportunities. Just imagine if you give them more opportunity. I tell you, hands down, I've been watching this O-line. If we ran more, I don't know which one, whether I would like Quisenberry or Spencer Brown at right tackle if we ran the ball more, because both of them dudes to me are neck and neck. I really like Quisenberry, honestly, for some reason. I really liked his play a little bit better in the passing game. But Spencer's that dog. Spencer got that dog, but Spencer, you could get tipped over and, whipped by, or, like
Quessenberry has like a higher floor, but Spencer Brown has a higher ceiling.
I say Spencer is more of the overachiever.
Okay.
Where I could see like he got some like some areas where every D lineman could easily take advantage of some of his weaknesses. But I could see Quisenberry, surprisingly, which I didn't think at first after watch. I was like, oh, this kid might have a little bit more upside than Brown. And at the end of the day, it's great that they're both there because I think they're both making each other better. Than Dawkins them over on the Dub Club. I like that. That's player.
You want that win? You better run behind those dudes.
Yeah, you want win? Come on,
that dub.
Hey,
you gotta get that dub.
Hopefully some more big dubs tomorrow.
I think the line. I like what's going on with those guys. I'm proud of them. I'm happy for them, and I'm not. When people don't give them no love, it's normal. It's offensive line. They ain't gonna get offensive line no love anyway. They're just waiting for him to mess up so they can blame it on. It's the right tackle. That's the reason why our quarterback's no good. No, usually if your quarterback's no good, it's your quarterback's problem, not the right tackle.
Right.
I like our line. I like them a lot. They've grown on me, and I feel bad for them because they're not really getting a chance to really be an offensive line that's a real part of the offense, because everything else is the offense. Diggs is the offense. Allen is the offense. Knox and Davis, all of them get to be identified as the offense. And the O-line is only the problem when the quarterback can get it. Instead of saying, no, we got some dogs up there.
Right.
Dawkins and Sappho, they'll bite your ear off. Fuck yeah, they'll bite your ear off. And definitely Spencer will. Spencer, he looked like he always looking for
Spencer with the shit.
He looked like he always looking for. I be saying sometimes, I said, man, save that damn energy and go back there and get them at the snap of the ball. Don't get them, once they done shove one of your homies or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, he there when somebody maybe a shove Josh or, been there, that's that good road warrior mentality. But at the end of the day, I learned from Kent Harlan, all right, take that note. He shoved Jim. When we snapped the ball on the get-go, whip his ass. Don't whip his ass. Don't run over there and be like, yo, get out of my quarterback face.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that shit. This play is for you, my buddy.
Yep. Water boy. Take it out on the field.
There you go. Let's line it up and do it.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, guys, before we get up out of here and get into the kneel down portion of the show, we got some bold predictions. I want to hear what y'all got for bold predictions for tomorrow's game, right? Give y'all a little bit of time to think, because I know I just sprung it on y'all, right? I'm going to go ahead and give mine. I think Josh Allen comes out, and I think he goes back to being the Josh Allen that we've come to expect, right? I think we see, one of those 85% completion percentages. 85 completion percent passing games. One of those 115 plus QB rating games, where he's out there throwing for like 23 and 25 for like 275. I don't want him to go out there and do too much. You don't got to go crazy. You ain't got to go 350 or nothing like that. But I do want to see him play, that just consistent high level football, the MVP football that we've come to expect from him from the first 7 or so weeks of the season. So that's my bold prediction. I expect to see Josh Allen come out and looking like Josh Allen. Coach, what is a bold prediction you have for tomorrow?
I said the Bills finally get a 100-yard rusher. I don't care whether it's Cook or Singletary. We're it's time for a breakthrough. It's go get it. These guys were so close last week, both of them. So, for you to have 2 guys almost getting over 100 yards apiece, there's no reason for at least one of them not to have a 100-yard game. And I'm going to go and say Nyheim Hines scored a touchdown on Thanksgiving.
I like it. I actually think that's a very good possibility, whether it's punt return, jet sweep, running the ball. I do see that. All right, Rube, what you got for us? What's a bold prediction you got for tomorrow's game?
My bold prediction is the Buffalo Bills will win a tight game in overtime.
That's hella bold.
Overtime on Thanksgiving Day, Buffalo Bills pull out the win. And they're going to win. But here's the thing about why I'm saying it. They need this. They need to battle and have a team that's going to score. They're not going to be able to go out there, I don't believe. Now, it's always possible it can be a blowout because they do have the capabilities. But Detroit Lions are used to playing on Thanksgiving. It's actually like a bowl game or like a big celebration. Mm-hmm. That whole environment out there is used to it. The Bills may not understand that. Maybe Diggs and them might know because the Detroit and Minnesota, they know a little something. But that game is different. It's like a playoff game. And this is a great tune-up for the Buffalo Bills to be in a playoff atmosphere all the time and know that they got to deliver at all costs, whatever it takes to win, whether it's Josh running it in for a touchdown or Josh handing it off to somebody, Stephon did, whatever, find a way to win the game. And number one, find a way to be physical and beat your team up. Don't come out limping. Give them the black eye and come out with the win. So I'm predicting tight game, Thanksgiving Day, exciting, overtime victory, Buffalo Bills. And they'll do it in exciting fashion, something like what happened up in New England, punt return to the house, or, big bomb down the field, one shot in the end zone, that type of thing.
They got back-to-back Thursday games, so I'm gonna. I kind of hate that because from a media standpoint, my schedule is all the way off now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's way whack. It's way. But you gotta understand, Detroit environment out there, they ready for this. They play every Thanksgiving. The Bills played a couple of Thanksgivings here and there, but right now, with the environment that the Bills bring with them, it's gonna bring a big deal on Thanksgiving Day. Man, it's the Detroit Lions coming to play.
No. Hey, Coach, let me ask you this. Let's say tomorrow it's roughly 3:15 p.m. and Josh Allen throws a strike to Gabriel Davis in the back of the end zone. The Buffalo Bills win 40-34 in overtime. How do you feel about that game?
They won the game. They won.
Come on, Mook. You ain't gonna like that at all. You're gonna be mad as fuck.
You're gonna be mad as hell.
Yeah, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna have something to talk
Justus,
about.
He's gonna be mad. He's lying right now.
I'm gonna have something to talk about for sure. But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be happy as hell they won.
Right.
They should be giving up no damn 34 points to the Detroit Lions.
No.
All right, let me just say that. All right, we are not. You know how you look at somebody and be like, we are not the same.
Yeah.
Come on now. Detroit, we are not the same.
You can't be
not be in a damn shootout. With Detroit. I'll say a shootout with Patrick Mahomes, hell yeah. But in a shootout with Jared Goff, I don't care if it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July, we should not be in a shootout with the Detroit Lions, okay? I'm sorry.
But that's what I'm saying about my prediction. My prediction is more of a bloodbath, like a ground and pound type of thing now. And styles make fight. If the Detroit Lions figure out a way to get the Bills into a ground and pound bloody game, then that's where I'm seeing the tight, game. But if Detroit is a sieve and Bills could just stand back there and pop them off, which I doubt, they're gonna have a lot more fight than that.
Well, maybe, we have a little advantage because if the Bills were smart, I know I probably would have been on the phone with Dable, who just got to finish playing.
Oh, get out. Like, they already happened out there, man. Dable called Allen. Dable called Josh.
He better get on the phone and
Dable called Josh Allen and told him what to do. Josh, he probably told Josh, like, look, hand it off to your running back and hit the check down as you win.
Hey, that's probably a lot of truth in that.
I mean, it might play into that because, the Bills are coming in this thing a little nicked up. No Gregory Rousseau, no Tremaine Edmonds, Mitch Morris may not play. And we all know what happened last time when he didn't play. They couldn't even get underneath the center when he played. So that's a key thing to be looking at.
I'm going to add this before we wrap up. And this is a message to the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. Give your offensive line a chance to be a part of this team because they deserve it. They are as talented as offensive line in the NFL, and you yourself would not rather have anybody else than them guys you got out there battling for you. And they are battling. They're a scrappy damn bunch. So give them a bone. Let them run the rock. Let them get themselves a 100-yard rusher. Because for O-linemen, the running game is more their badge. The quarterbacks get all the accolades for passing, But when you have a 100-yard rusher, that's O-line work right there. We want that. And for those guys to be busting their ass and Josh getting all the accolades, and they don't even get a chance to have a 100-yard rusher, that's not fair to them. You know, that's not putting anything on their legacy, on their books, because they there putting on your books. So return the favor, put on their books, man. They want to go commissary too.
Yeah, absolutely. Look out for the big boys. I like that. I like give the big boys a little love. Absolutely, 100%.
I'm on this bus. So that's my thing. All right. Hey man, listen. I'm one of those people that before we go, I'm gonna say this. To hell with pumpkin pie. Y'all motherfuckers that talk about pumpkin pie and try to put it on people's tables, fuck y'all. All right? If your mama served pumpkin pie, I say the same thing. But man, nobody ever gonna be able to tell me pumpkin pie is supposed to be a pie. Never, ever. I'm from Virginia, down south.
Sweet potato.
Thank you, son.
Okay.
If it ain't sweet potato, you might as well go back where you came from.
Right. Don't bring that thing over here.
Yeah, sweet potato. So I'm sorry, I'm being very Afro Nubian. All of those are being there right now. I'm confident that sweet potato pie is pie. The hell with pumpkin pie. Y'all can have that squash.
So it's clear to say that the Bills is sweet potato pie and Detroit is pumpkin pie.
Oh yeah.
Smash.
Oh yeah.
Smash.
Oh yeah.
Get it out of here, baby. Get it out of here.
All right. One love.
You want to send us out, Mook?
Hey, man, the Bills is in Detroit for the second week in a row. Only thing you got to ask yourself is, do you believe? Bet online is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports contests and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Now, find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. Bet Online continues to be the top online resource for all sports information, from live in-game betting props and futures. Head to Bet Online today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Now, use our promo code BLEAV50 to receive your 50%. Welcome your bonus on your first deposit. Now, Bet Online